everyone, Assassin Panda Gaming here, and today I'm here, not necessarily something I'll do all the time, but just a random thing, talks with Hollie, whatever. So I was on Facebook, and I'm like, hey, I'm on YouTube, and I'm gonna record after this. What should I record? And my Canadian friend, Charlie, she said about having a Canadian friend. A couple minutes later, my dad comments about having an awesome dad, and I'm just like, okay, so two topics. Having a Canadian friend, and apparently I have an awesome dad, I don't know. So, first up, if you have a Canadian friend, which I do, she is 16 years old, obviously lives in Canada. I have come to being used to knowing what Tim Hortons is and whatever Canadian people do. So I'm kind of used to it now, but first when you meet a Canadian person, online usually, I mean if you're not Canadian, because I'm not Canadian, I live in America, she lives in Canada. We met online through the One Direction fandom when I was really obsessed with them. And yeah, it was kind of hard getting used to her Canadian ways. If they tell you they're at Timmy's, that means Tim Hortons, okay? That is a... Don't kill me on this one, I think it's a coffee shop. So that's like a Canadian's favorite thing, I don't even know. And there's this thing, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, that I really want to try. It's fries with gravy and some other shit on it. I don't know. So it's the P. P-O-U-T-I-N-E. So there's that. Hockey is actually more so of a stereotype. I mean, a lot of people do like hockey in Canada, but don't really count on that one. Anyways, having a Canadian friend. At first, it's really confusing, especially when you have to get used to what they're talking about, like the provinces and where they live, because they don't have states, they have like territories and whatever, and it's not like America, and if you don't live in America, then maybe even more confusing. Well, United States, because this is North America. It will be confusing, believe me, at least it's confusing for me. But you will get used to it and be like, that's what they're talking about. Sometimes I'm even still confused what she's talking about. Like, we were talking about how we do our national anthems at school, like, a couple weeks ago, and she was, like, talking about "Oh Canada" or something, and I was like, what? Because we do the Star Spangled Banner. At least I don't. We do the Pledge of Allegiance and then the school pledge here, or at least in my school, which I'll be going back to in September. What else? And we were talking about that. They have a different anthem, obviously. They apparently are allowed to wear hats in school. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it snows all the time there. America, we're not allowed. At least not my school. Some schools are, I don't know. But they're allowed to wear them except hoods. I don't know, I'm ranting off on this, but yeah. So at first, it will be confusing, but you'll get used to it. And if you're Canadian, you're talking to a Canadian, then you obviously understand. If you're not Canadian, believe me, it took me a while to get used to it. I was like, just questioning everything she was telling me. Then I got used to it. I'm like, oh, I know what she's talking about. But it's really awesome having a Canadian friend, because it's like, whoa, you're not American. Because she's probably, I think she's the first friend, like, actual friend I have that's not in America. I mean, I was talking to some people in a group chat from Australia, New Zealand, and Russia, because they were friends, or they're fans of Kira. My leg's itching. But that's it, so she's the first person that I'm friends with that's like out of my country. So it's pretty cool. You'll like it. You'll learn some new things. I still want to try that fry stuff or whatever. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because God forbid I get it wrong. So it's really awesome to have a Canadian friend. If you have one, you're lucky. Charlie, I love you. Okay, on to awesome dads. I have a dad who's in my life. I live with my parents, mom, dad, my sister, her boyfriend, her 2 kids, and my little brother, and my grandma. I live with a lot of people. Originally it was just me, my parents, and my brother. But I have a dad. His name is Lewis. We call him Lou, or I call him Dad. Jacob calls him Daddy. Stacey calls him Dad. Everybody else calls him by his first name. He will be, what are you turning 50 this year, Dad? Can't remember. I was honestly having a debate with that in a group chat. We were all talking about our parents. He is really the one who takes care of us kids. Like, I mean, my mom kind of does, but, you know, I don't even feel like talking about her because it's personal, but, he's the one who pays the bills, takes care of us kids, even his 24-year-old daughter, Stacy, in other words, my older sister. He pretty much does everything, except my mom usually cooks. Well, not even as much as she used to now, but even he cooks sometimes, and we have our daddy-daughter things. Like, there's one thing that we do that we haven't done in a while. There's actually 2 things. One, we haven't really done as much as the other one. The first thing, we would always go to 7-Eleven, like, years ago. Not years, like, I don't know, like 10. We would go to 7-Eleven at night, and we'd get our own box of nachos, a Slurpee, and we'd take that home and just eat it. That's like a thing we did. And then a thing we've been doing currently since we got our Malibu, it's kind of like a sports car. There's a road, kind of, I don't know where it is, I forget what it's called, but it's not too far from here. It's a really long, and it has houses on it, but it's like a really quiet road. There's not really any cars on it, especially at night. So we'll go at like 10 or 11 o'clock sometimes, and we'll take a ride, and then we'll ride to that road, and we'll go down that road, and we can go as fast as we want because there's like never any cars, and we'll blast Hair Nation, and we'll have windows down sometimes. We usually do it more so in the summer because we have the sunroof thingy in the car, and we'll open that, and we'll open windows, and we'll blast in Hair Nation, or I'll put in my phone into the aux cord, and I'll play like Bowling for Soup, or Calvin Harris, or My Chemical Romance, and we'll jam out to that, and we'll go down that road as fast as we can. Then so when we get to the main roads, we'll slow down and go back home. That's one thing we do. We're probably going to start it up again because it's going to get warmer. Apparently it's supposed to snow in this state on the first day of spring, which, God, I hope not. I'm not looking forward to that, but that's what we do. We did the 7-Eleven thing a couple weeks ago, too.
Shut up.
I don't know if you can hear that. That's my sister.
Go to bed.
So those are 2 things we do a lot. And me and him usually, like, when late at night, we'll like come upstairs and we'll have like a snack or something, and we'll just talk about random shit. And it varies the conversation, and he gets on my nerves a lot, to say the least. But he's my dad; he's supposed to, and he can get real annoying sometimes. But really happy to have him in my life because I mean, I honestly don't know what I'd do without him. Because if something happens to him, my mom takes custody of us kids. Like me and Jacob, because I mean, we're her 2 kids. Stacy's technically, she is my half-sister. And she'll take custody of me and Jacob, and I'm hoping that at least I hope nothing happens to him until like he's like 80, because me and Jacob will both be like 18. Then we can be out of the house, because I'm praying to God that doesn't happen. So he basically does like everything for us. And I'm just glad to have him, honestly. Because there's a scary moment, I'll tell you guys, because if my mom had Jacob 2 months premature, and at the time I didn't know what was going on, but something happened like one night in the bathroom, which is the night she gave birth, and there was a chance that her and Jacob could have both died. So then it would have just been me and my dad, and then, well, later Stacey moved or anything could have happened. But and just say if that actually did happen, I lost my mom and my little brother, and then something happens to my dad when I'm not even old enough, that would be horrible. Thankfully we're all okay. But yeah, I almost did lose my mom and my little brother. 2011. Yeah, June 9th. June. Listen to me. January 9th was when he was born. If I lost him and my mom, and then imagine if something happened to my dad. God forbid. So there's been a lot of things. And my dad, he has to go to the hospital Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. He's staying overnight. Something wrong with his heart. So, but I'm just really thankful to have him in my life. And my dad, he's awesome. He annoys me a lot. But we're close. We're really close. I'm closer to him than I am my mom, to be honest. Woo. So that's pretty much it. I have a Canadian friend and an awesome dad, I guess. This is kind of random, not really. Just me talking, like, not even planned, just like saying whatever comes to mind. Hence why it's called Talks with Hollie. So that's it. Then see you guys later.